Hi everybody, Vintage Iron back here again. We're here at Total Seal in Phoenix, Arizona, and I wanted to talk to you about a special tool. I think it's only fitting that we talk about this piston ring compressor that was manufactured by Total Seal Piston Ring Company in Phoenix, Arizona. And so we're going to talk about some specialty tools and stuff like that, but I wanted to kind of do a quick introduction. We just picked this thing up and then we'll go back to the shop and take a look at it. So we're back at the shop now, guys, and like I said, we've got this. I wanted to show you this ring compressor tool. Now, originally, for many years, I would use the band style, expandable type ring compressor, and these work okay, but sometimes what happens is the rings will slip out the bottom of them, and if you don't get it just the right amount of tension on it, these are more problematic, and I've actually in the past broken some rings and stuff putting them in with the band type or the expandable type. So this is what I was just talking about. Now this is made by Total Seal. They actually manufacture these, and this is a cone style ring compressor, and it is literally a cone. Now the thing about this type of ring compressor is you have to have one for every size of bore. In other words, it's a fixed diameter here. So this is one that I just had them make up for our 305 build that we're going to be doing. And every time I do a bore size that I haven't done before, I usually have them go ahead and make one of these for me because the price is pretty reasonable. Right around like $69, $70, somewhere in there. So that's not bad. Now, I don't know how feasible that is if you're just doing one engine, but I think it's money well spent, and then we just hang these up. And we just keep an assortment of them up on the wall on the pegboard, and as you can see, we've got quite a few of these for some of the more popular bore sizes. So if you're doing a lot of engines, or if you have a unique bore size, you can actually have them make one of these and they'll ship it right to you. Once you use one of these, the thing is you'll never really want to go back. The way this works is you put the large size, and this is one of our 305 pistons here. So you put the large size cone right up here, and you just you get this up and it just kind of slides through there. So the rods are so big and beefy on this right here, the rod nuts and so forth on this 305, they don't even fit through there really. So I can't really demo that unless I take this cap off, because the cap has to come off and then it slides over it. But basically you get the rings in there, and the cone actually, as the piston goes in, compresses the rings. And I mean, it's just a really smooth, once you use one of these, like I said, you're never going to want to use the other type again. So that's one of the tools that we use. Another one that we saw the other day is a straight edge. Now, a straight edge is also something that you're going to want to get if you're going to do this on a regular basis. And of course, a lot of times machine shops will check the flatness and everything for you. But if you're into doing this yourself, you got to get yourself a precision straight edge. Now, this is not just some random piece of steel. This is a precision machined edge here, and it is machined to within like 3/10,000ths of an inch all the way across, so it's perfectly flat. So it gives you a standard, so when you lay this on the head, if there's any distortion or warpage, you'll be able to take a set of filler gauges and you'll be able to slide it in there, and it tells you whether or not the head or the block needs to be resurfaced. So straight edge, a really good tool. Another one here for the rings is you need to get yourself a good set of ring pliers. Now, rings are not ever to be rolled onto the piston. So in other words, a lot of guys will take the ring and they'll get one side of the ring started here, and then they'll just kind of twist the ring and roll it on there. There's not a ring manufacturer in the world that says that that's okay. Now, I know some guys have done it and they can get away with it, but these are steel or cast iron rings, and most ring manufacturers, including Total Seal, which is the biggest ring manufacturer in the world, will tell you that it's not a good idea to twist these steel or cast iron rings because it fatigues the ring and it shortens the life of the ring. So we want to use ring pliers to take those on and off, and that keeps the ring level. We expand it. It's a ring expander plier, and we put it on so it's level. So ring expander pliers, great tool, one that I recommend for your toolbox for engine building. Of course, a good set of micrometers is something that you need to have, right? If you're going to do any precision measuring at all, you have to have some micrometers, and we have, there's a lot of different sizes of mics depending on what you're building. So you definitely want to buy a good quality set of mics. If you're going to do cam profiling, or you want to know what your lift is, this is a lifter bore gauge. Now it just uses a regular dial indicator, and this tool was actually manufactured and sold by a place called Powerhouse. Actually, I don't know if they manufactured it, but they sell it. A lot of these specialty tools you can get online, and there's a company by the name of Powerhouse, and they have all of these tools. This goes in the lifter bore, and there's a couple of different sizes here. You can tell them what size lifter bore you have. This is a universal deal. This is a small block Chevy lifter bore, and this is a small block Ford lifter bore. And there's several other bores that are universal to this. You just put that in and you rotate your cam lobe, and as the cam lobe rides up on the profile, it tells you what the lift of your cam is. And that's something that you will probably need to know if you're degreeing a cam, or you have a mystery cam and you don't really know what it is. The lift of your cam is really important. Another one is a deck gauge. Now this is a gauge that sits over the cylinder, and I bring my piston up to TDC, and this will tell me what my deck clearance is, or how far down in the bore my piston is sitting. Again, Powerhouse. You can get online, go to their website, and they sell this stuff. When I bought this, I just purchased, it didn't come with the indicator. I purchased this billet anodized piece here, and you just put just a standard dial indicator in there. That thing comes out. You just put your a dial indicator in there, and you tighten it up, and there you go. You can, and it's a little bit, you can adjust that wherever you need it. And also, if you need to get over on one side, you can put the indicator over here if you need to measure something on this side. So it's a real handy piece, and it also is magnetic back here. So once you put it on the block, it sticks to the block. Powerhouse, great tool to have if you need to check your deck clearance or things like that. For measuring bore diameters, and you may have seen this thing in action in some of the videos, I recommend a dial bore gauge. Now you don't have to spend tons of money on one of these. This is actually one of the less expensive ones that's out there. You can buy this. I bought this on eBay, I believe. I have 2 or 3 of these, and I bought them on eBay, and it's been so many years since I got this that I don't remember exactly what the site was, but if you just do a search for dial bore gauge, you'll see a bunch of these come up, and I think I paid probably $80 or $100 or something for this, and it did come with the indicator. And again, the indicator comes out, it's adjustable, it has all kinds of attachments and so forth for different bore sizes, and this is a great tool for checking rod bores, cylinder bores, main bores, oil clearances. Fantastic. This is invaluable. You really need to have one of these. One other thing that I would like to mention here is that you need to get yourself a good torque wrench. Now, this is a digital torque wrench. You don't have to have a digital torque wrench. There's some good click type. There's even some decent beam type torque wrenches out there that they're pretty good. I have a beam type torque wrench that was made by Craftsman, and I've had it for probably 20 years. And I have checked it repeatedly over the years against digital torque wrenches and against click type torque wrenches that I had calibrated, and it's always right on the money. So one of the things that you have to do if you have a click type torque wrench or like a dial indicator type torque wrench is periodically you need to send that torque wrench out to like a small tool repair shop, a precision tool repair shop, and you have to have them calibrate that tool, and then they put a calibration sticker on it. The nice thing about some of the digital stuff is they are self-calibrating, like this one here. Snap-on has great stuff. This one here is made by Craftsman, and this thing goes up to like 250 pounds. I actually bought this exclusively for one job. I was doing a diesel engine that had really high torque on it, and I didn't have a torque wrench that went that high. It was like 240 foot-pounds on the bolts, and I bought this thing and I paid, I think, $150 for it, and I love this torque wrench. This thing is really nice. So you got to have good quality tools. It's important that you don't skimp on this, because having the right tool for the job is a big issue. So if you have any questions on any of this stuff, or you want to know where I got any of this stuff, or you want sources for it, just let me know, ask. But I thought I'd do just this short video and kind of talk about some of the tools, because I know during the builds we burn through this stuff and we say, hey, use this tool or use that tool. But it's a good idea to kind of give you a little bit of insight on this stuff, I think, and why we actually need this stuff. With engines, we're dealing with, precision. We're dealing with clearances and stuff are literally as thin as a human hair. You cannot eyeball that stuff. You actually have to have really good precision measuring tools in order to get those clearances and tolerances correct, or make sure they're correct. That's part of the inspection process, is using precision tools. So stay tuned and make sure you go to my Patreon site and become a supporter. When we get to $500, we're going to do a drawing and give away that welding helmet, and we got a bunch of other giveaways coming. So I appreciate all your support. If you don't choose to support, that's fine. The YouTube videos are always going to be free. And so, but I do appreciate the more support I get, the more cool stuff we're going to be able to build. And I'm not asking for a lot of money. I'm asking for very small amounts, $1, $1.50, $5, $10 a month. Whatever you can do, I appreciate it. If you can't do that, I appreciate you anyway, and I hope you keep watching. The rest of the 305 build is coming very soon, I promise. So stay tuned, and actually on the 305 build, you are going to see that ring compressor in action. It's actually going to be, we're going to use this guy, and you'll be able to see how this works, because we're going to put those pistons in. So I appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Have a good day. And we're going to put this in here, and the difference that we see will be our oil clearance. I'm going to go back and do it again. Go back up to the top, and I'm going to go backwards down past 50. Once you get the reading on the micrometer, go ahead, there's a locking mechanism on here. We'll just gently lock that. You don't want to get too crazy with this. We don't want to damage the crank. And then we're going to read our micrometer. Sure that we can't pull that out of there. All along the surface. And this looks really good.